Hello, everyone. I'm Johnny Berkowitz from the Daily Targum, and I'm here with Dylan McCoy to discuss Drake's new album, Certified Lover Boy. Drake's one of those people who doesn't really need a quick background. I mean, he's a singer-songwriter, has produced too many number one hits. He's a hit machine, and he's proven to be talented in pretty much multiple genres and not just rap, R&B, etc. Drake has just dropped a new album, Certified Lover Boy, out of nowhere. He had been talking about it for over a year, it feels like, and the pandemic happened. Suddenly the album feels like it wasn't coming out. But Kanye drops an album. Suddenly 5 days later, Drake drops a new album. That's something we'll get to. This album came out September 3rd, 2021. So, Dylan, what would you say is the theme of this album?
The theme of Certified Lover Boy is that Drake thinks that he is extremely sexy. And he thinks that he is literally the most lovable man on the entire planet. I had some pretty strong feelings about this album when it first came out. I'm a big Drake fan. I really have enjoyed pretty much every album he's ever put out. So I listened to this and I went to the Targum office, as you guys know, and would not shut up about it. I've listened to it again, and definitely a more muted feeling on it. Not to say that I don't think it's personally bad, but I don't think I'd pick it ahead of any other Drake album I've heard. I'd probably put it last, if not like second to last. I just think like it's very much like the album is very much like the same. Like you said, Drake is a guy who does a lot of different genres, R&B, dance hall, obviously rap. And this was mainly a rap album, which is fine. Like I like rap albums, but Drake is not like a crazy rapper. It's kind of hard for him to maintain a high level like throughout a full album, just rapping.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, yeah, he does drop some songs that suck, but like, I mean, there isn't like a song on this album where I was like, I want to turn it off immediately. It wasn't like, I feel like he doesn't really make bad music. He just makes music sometimes that's just very forgettable. And then, of course, he makes like pretty decent songs. I mean, there are a handful of good tracks on this album. I mean, I know you were saying you had back at the Targum, you were saying you had a few that you really liked. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, so the one that I really, really, really liked, and that is going to be a staple at every social event I go to for the next 6
I know
months.
exactly what
it's way too sexy because it's a fucking great song. It's a great song. Future, great. Young Thug. I love Young Thug, so I would never be disappointed. I don't know. The music video is one of the most iconic things I've ever seen in my entire life. I'll never forget watching that music video.
No, yeah, that song was truly I've heard that it's the male version of WAP.
I'd say that's fair. I'd say that's pretty fair. It's a pretty fair description.
That song's been getting hated on. I mean, I hear it. I'm like, I don't hate this song. I think it's like pretty, like, I enjoy it. I can't lie.
It's so catchy. How can you not enjoy it? I don't know. I really liked Knife Talk with 21 Savage too. I really like 21 Savage.
21 Savage has like not missed since like dropping I Am Better Than I Was. Like,
yeah, I would have to agree.
Actually, before that, Without Warning, like he just was like, all right, I'm gonna actually start rapping now. I was holding back, and he just has not missed.
21.
But yeah, having Thugger and Future on a track, I mean, that's just a recipe for a banger. And the weird part is, I mean, I saw a statistic. I mean, the Billboard Hot 100 it should be coming out soon, but this will be Future's first number one hit. Which
really?
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's
just,
surprising.
yeah, I was shocked. Mask Off was always number two,
Oh,
which I don't understand what song could possibly have been bigger than that.
unless it was like Mo Bamba, like I don't understand that. Like
No, yeah,
Mask Off was literally everywhere.
I saw that. I was shocked. It was like that, and then also something off the collab album Drake and Future did, which I think is an underrated album. Like no one talks about that. What a time to be alive. Uh, that album's underrated. I forgot. It might have been Jumpman. Jumpman's
Probably,
classic. That's a
probably.
classic.
Yeah, no, for sure. But you know, just about CLB, I think a lot of the album that I enjoyed was songs with features, and like that's not to say that like it discredits like Drake because like he's obviously a part of the song, and like there's no one song where I'm like, oh my god, this person does so much better than Drake. But like that song "Girls Want Girls," like Lil Baby, I enjoyed more than Drake. I mean, there was definitely a few instances where I definitely was just like feeling the feature more than I was feeling Drake.
Oh yeah.
But like if you have a good feature, like you just make your album better. So like I'm not like complaining.
No, yeah. That song, okay. Yeah, that song, like it started off and like then like and I'm not gonna lie, like I mean the some of the bars on this album are just so like I
Kind of
think
whack. Kind of
they're
whack.
whack, but I would say like there's more like just strange bars than like bad bars. Just ones that kind of I like walked away from, just like not being like, oh, that's corny. Like there, yeah, like on Girls Want Girls, like she say that she a lesbian, girl, me too. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else needs to be said about that line. Uh, that's already been said already. But I mean, I do really like the Lil Baby feature. I mean, Lil Baby, also another rapper who's just continually just improved his like previous. He's just been improving every single thing he puts out. But I mean, other than that song, I mean, I enjoyed the first one a lot. It like kind
Oh,
of felt,
Champagne Poetry.
yeah.
Yeah, I actually really have been enjoying that. It's real. Sometimes when like it reminded me a lot of like, do you remember when he dropped what was it? He dropped what was it, Scary Hours 2? He dropped that song Lemon Pepper Freestyle.
Oh
Every
yeah,
time Drake drops a song that's called like freestyle or he's just rapping for like 5 minutes, it just ends up being really good. I
yeah,
don't know if
no.
it's like a formula he has, but yeah.
And like these are the instances where like Drake, yeah, he does show his like rapping abilities. Like he can rap, and like the start of this album like was promising. This one, and then Poppy's Home was also a pretty decent song. And then Girls Want Girls comes on, and he says the lesbians bar, and I was like, oh no. But yeah, and also like the album art.
That was one of my favorite parts. I thought that was hilarious. I
I
understand why people don't like it. And like if we're talking objectively, like I think it's a pretty like bad album cover, but it made me laugh and I thought it was hilarious. So
it looks like it was designed by him, to be honest. Like I
I
mean,
mean he could have sent that in a text message and literally been like,
yeah,
that's it.
it's interesting. Like I mean, looking at it right now, just kind of studying it, it's interesting.
Studying the emojis. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it's pretty I mean it's pretty on brand with like the album's like theme and stuff. So it makes sense, honestly.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny that Drake is 35 years old and just like talking about how like sexy he is and that he's a lover boy. But
No, yeah.
I digress.
I definitely agree with that. But this album is long. Oh my God. It's an hour, almost an hour and a half long. And like it is like a it takes a while to get through this whole project, but I mean some there are some better songs like on the later half. Like I mean the song Kid Cudi. I love Kid Cudi. I mean, he's like one of the most wholesome people on the planet, and like I respect him so much. I mean, I personally I like that song, but there's so many songs on this album that I just like just completely forgot about. Like I just don't forgot existed pretty much.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think some of the songs kind of get lost, but for me, I don't know. Like you definitely should grade an album on like the complete body of work, but for me, like replayability definitely matters a lot. That's why I like found a little bit more out of like CLB than I did Donda, just because like I don't see myself replaying much of Donda like again. Like it was produced well, and like I love Kanye, like it was produced really well, but I can definitely see myself just being like in the car or something and turning on a song from CLB, and I don't really see that from Donda.
I'm gonna
I
have
didn't
to
mean to
say
slam it.
I don't know. I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
That's fair.
Like I mean, I guess now like like on the topic of like because I mean it's if you're talking about CLB, you have to talk about Donda because of like the beef that's like just been going on for almost like 3 years at this point and has showed no sign of stopping. Uh, but I mean, you kind of alluded to it, but like compared CLB to Donda, like how do you think like this compare? How does one
Yeah,
compare to
I
the other?
probably should have phrased that in a better way. I think Donda is like better, but like I'm going to listen to CLB more. Like I
I
just know
okay, I get what you mean.
like Donda is like very well produced. Kanye obviously took a lot of time on it. Like it's also very long. And like every song like sounds like pretty beautiful. Like Kanye
Yeah,
just knows what to do when he produces. But there is no song on Donda that will get nearly as many plays this year on my phone as Way Too Sexy. I know that for a fact. Simon Close. It's gonna end up as my number one on my Spotify Wrapped, and I'm gonna be super embarrassed, but I do not care. I think
it's
it's a
male
I love that.
empowerment.
I really think that song is gonna be like one of those songs that we remember Drake for, which is like maybe not a good thing, but I mean it is what it is.
I think yeah, that song is on could be on the path of like a classic. I think it very much could be. I see it like because there's certain songs that I mean I grew up with Drake. Like I mean he's been around forever. Like I mean song Forever. Like I feel like it like could easily be on the level of like one of those like one of his just like absolute classic songs. But I mean, on the topic of like this album, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with your take about like Donda's definitely, I consider it more of an experience than an album. And I'm sure if I were at one of the live showings for the album, like I would have been like head over heels for this album, but instead I'm sitting in a car listening to it. I mean, I feel like the album is like intended, which I mean sounds like kind of pretentious, but I mean Kanye was literally buying people tickets to listen to the album. But this but then Donda has a song that didn't even drop, was leaked by Drake himself, the life of the party, where Kanye takes shots at Drake, multiple shots, like drops his name, which is like you don't see much name dropping in diss like when rappers diss each other. It's usually like low key, like no one's really sure. But did you listen to the Kanye diss track towards Drake?
No, but I did listen to what was it? It was on I want to say yeah, it was on a Trippie Red song that Drake like kind of like hit
Oh yeah.
back. Yeah, that was like it was like kind of low key, but definitely definitely think like the beef is interesting. I kind of like thought it was going to be like when like Graduation and like 50 Cent's album came out, and definitely did not live up to that, but still a cool beef. good for the game, good for the industry.
No, yeah. I mean, it's very entertaining, especially when do you see that Instagram post he put out where it was like it had to have been in a group chat with him and Drake.
Yes, yes. And he sent the Joker, and he was like, "You will never recover from this."
Yeah, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I'm not gonna lie, that got me 1,000 times more excited to listen to Donda.
Yeah. That was hilarious. And like, I know it's like Kanye's being serious. Kanye's very mentally unhinged, and I'm genuinely worried about him. But like, that was pretty funny. But it seems like Drake is trying to like take this stance that, I mean, he's just not trying to entertain it, and like it just seems like every other day, like they're like Kanye or Pusha's like poking like a Drake, and like it just Drake honestly, like I mean, after like Pusha dropped the story of Added On, like I mean Drake's kind of just been kind of, in my opinion, took the L like, because that was one of the most vicious diss tracks I think I've ever heard in my life, since like Tupac rapping about how he allegedly had sex with Biggie Smalls' wife. I mean, you don't hear like many diss tracks like really giving out that release of information, but I digress. Do you have any like some final thoughts or something you want to get out, like just in summary?
Well, I guess I'll give like a rating. If I had to rate like the album as a whole, probably around like a 5 out of 10. Like, some songs I enjoyed, some songs I'm never going to listen to again, and like I've also heard better from Drake, so I think that definitely pushes it down as well. Way Too Sexy, 12 out of 10. Great, incredible, absolutely incredible song. But yeah, the album, if you had to describe it one word, I would say mid. Which is not good, but not bad. So mid.
Yeah. I would say, like, final thoughts, like, if you're a Drake fan, like, you're gonna love this album. I think like I don't really see anything on this album that like a Drake fan, minus like Dylan, what you were talking about, how there's like not a lot of singing on it. It's mostly rapping. But like I'm sure like the Drake fans are not gonna get enough of this album, and then just like, I mean, people in general, like, I mean, it's just like very easy to put on. Whereas, like, I mean, Donda, which I think is the better album, is like definitely more out there. But as far as like a rating for this album goes, I didn't like this album. Things on it that like were kind of just like ridiculous and like pretty funny, but like then like just the album then proceeds to go on for another like hour. I mean, I would have to go with like a 1.5 teacups out of 5. If you have the time, like, I mean, Champagne Poetry, the beat, I don't know if you know Freddie Gibbs. He dropped a freestyle on that beat, and it's
that sounds amazing.
Yeah,
I have not heard that, but it already sounds amazing. I'm probably gonna listen to it as soon as we're done with this.
It's incredible, and like, I mean, I recommend anyone listening to check that out. Check this album out. Like any Drake album, there's standouts, and then there's a lot of songs that just kind of go unnoticed. I guess that's all for today. Join us next time on Targum Tea for more reviews. And make sure to follow the Daily Targum on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for more content.